Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Phoenix, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, and from Washington, Kamal Nawash, president of Free Muslims Coalition. So, Mr. Nawash, how do you explain this poll? Shouldn't Muslims like President Obama?
Well, I guess from President Obama's point of view, they should. But from many Muslims' point of view, you have to look at many of those who supported Obama in the beginning, they had a certain irrational exuberance as to what he was going to do. They tended to define hope in a way that fits their paradigm, a way that fits their world initially. And among the things that they were looking at least those who supported him in the beginning, are the issues that are important to them. They were hoping he would do certain things differently.
Like what? Give me an example of how
like
President Obama...
All right.
Give me an example.
For example, they were hoping he would be different on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. For this issue, for many Muslims and Arabs, is the single most important issue in all of foreign policy.
So he hasn't advanced that down the lane and they're disappointed. Anything else?
Yeah, and then they were hoping, for example, that one of the complaints a lot of Muslims and Arabs have, of course, that that the U.S. doesn't really respect their sovereignty, always meddles into their business, and they felt that that would change when he came, and they don't feel he really has any more respect for their sovereignty.
So by going into Pakistan and getting bin Laden and dropping drones on Al-Qaeda all over the Muslim world, the Muslims are mad at us for doing that. We can't protect ourselves.
Well, not necessarily killing bin Laden, but certainly, the fact that they would go and bomb various targets in Pakistan without asking the Pakistanis.
Them. But see, if we ask them, they tip off the terrorists, and the terrorists leave. See, that's what happens.
Well, you're asking me why they would like him.
Absolutely, Mr. Nawash, that's an excellent point. I deserve to be scolded by you. But I get a little frustrated because it's insane. Now, Doctor, why do you think the Muslim world doesn't like President Obama?
Well, I'll tell you, Bill, I think it's a much more fundamental problem in that we have to make up for decades, if not generations, of media propaganda where you have the Muslim population driven by two different fascisms. Secular fascism that they've associated with us because we've coddled some dictators, because we've sort of picked the devil that we know, and even now we've come lately to the uprising, so we've lost some credibility there. And the other fascism, which is theopolitical fascism of Islamism and political Islam, which wants to paint the West and secular societies as against their faith, as against Islam. So really liberty, the concepts of freedom.
Here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get, Doctor. 2 years ago, they weren't great approval ratings for Obama, but they were much better than they are now. And the president has gone to Cairo and he's coddled the president of the United States is coddling the Muslim world. Oh, don't get mad at us. Oh, we have to do it. He's doing it. He's dropping the drones. He got bin Laden, keeping Guantanamo open. He has to. He has to protect the American people. But then he doesn't like to do it. He doesn't want to do it. But the Muslims still turn on him.
And I'll tell you, there's many Muslim families like mine and the Syrians and others that are looking for leadership from the leader of the free world to do just like Reagan did when President Reagan called the Soviet Union the evil empire. It is time for a president and an administration that can call evil ideology evil, whether it's secular fascism or that of the Brotherhood and Islamism. They need to call it evil.
If he took my point of view on it. Mr. Nawash, I'm interested in this. Look, you guys are both American citizens. I'm sure you're loyal to your country here. And I'm sure you're very disturbed, as I am, about the Muslim problem in the world. But I don't see a way to get through it. I don't see look, if Pakistan is going to protect the Taliban, there's a fine article in Newsweek this week that lays that out. They're protecting the Taliban. Protect bin Laden. We know they did that. And if Saudi Arabia, supposedly our big partner, is going to fund all this Wahhabist school business so the little kids learn how to hate Jews and Americans and all of that, it's never going to get better. It's never going to get better, Mr. Nawash.
I don't think so. I don't think there's a fundamental problems between Muslims and the United States because of the religion. I really don't see it. I think it's mostly political in nature. I mean, most people, even if you look at an insane person like bin Laden, when he goes out and speaks, most of the stuff he talks about is not religion. He talks about political issues.
Then why was Pakistan protecting the guy then? Why was Pakistan, that gets more than $2 billion a year in aid from us, protecting this nut? if what you say is true.
Look, you know, certainly if they are, that's a problem. But we don't really know that they are. We also know that Pakistanis have lost about 32,000 soldiers fighting on the side of the U.S. So you can't really say they're protecting.
All right, go ahead, Doctor. Wrap it up.
But Kamal, it is time for us to have an offense. That's really where the president's speech was lacking. We have no offensive ideology into Muslim societies to say, you know what, there are Muslims that want liberty, that want constitutions with an establishment clause, that don't want theocracies, that don't want secular fascism. And this needs,
but here's the problem, gentlemen.
I think that's what's been
here's
missing.
the problem, and I got to run. For every Muslim in the world that wants democracy and wants human rights, there's one who doesn't. And the one who doesn't have any rules. It'll blow the hell out of the one that does. So that silences the good Muslims who see the danger from the Muslim world. I got to run, gentlemen.
Things are changing.
Good debate. I got to run.
Things are
good
changing.
Debate.